that we have just to walk through a little bit of what our offering is. So in order to give you a little bit of a preview, I know that these sessions are most valuable when we can get into the product. So I'm going to definitely save some time for us to go through demo and do some Q&A. But just to give you a brief preview, we're going to talk a little bit about the solution, the licensing, the deployment, how to manage it, what compliance requirements we have, and then resources for you. And for those who are not familiar with Atlassian, we are a collaboration software company, and our goal is to help everyone unleash the power of their team. We started with a tool called Jira, which is kind of our flagship tool, and that is our sort of issue tracking and project management tool. It is purpose-built for agile teams looking to build and ship software. However, this is used by teams of various sizes and functions all over the world. Our original product, Jira Software, has evolved and has several different sort of flavors, as we call it. We also have Jira Work Management, which is our new offering for non-technical teams. I use that as a marketer, really enjoy it. Kind of has all the robustness of Jira with, but kind of built for those less technical teams and without all of the complexities, at least from an end user perspective. We also have Jira Service Management. This is our IT service management tool. And the beauty of this is it's all anchored into the Jira platform. So when you have these teams, you have this beautiful data flow of analytics, as well as powerful integrations. So while I talk about Jira today and the integration with Microsoft Teams, this applies to Jira Software, Jira Work Management, and Jira Service Management. I'll keep on going. And next, I'll also talk about our Confluence app in Microsoft Teams. Confluence is, we call it our remote-friendly team workspace. This is really a kind of knowledge sharing and documentation space that is meant to be uber flexible, modern, collaborative, everything from live editing to templates. Really lets your either if you're using it for documentation or project pages, it's really flexible and can meet the needs of kind of many sizes and many different teams. So I'll walk through what that integration looks like. And forgive me, this is not the most beautiful slide, but this is an effort to give you a comprehensive overview of all of our Atlassian and Microsoft tools. I won't spend too much time on this, rather I'll send you to our landing page that just is the source of truth for all of the integrations between Microsoft and Atlassian. And what I will say is we are both heavily invested in this partnership, knowing that we have a lot of customers like you using both Atlassian tools alongside Microsoft tools. So we are going to continue to build and invest in these integrations to make your lives as easy as possible. All right, I'm going to take a quick pause and see if there are any questions in the chat before I go back. Okay, it looks like we're looking good there. So a little bit around the problem space. Again, I won't spend too much time here because I think we're all aware, but a couple of metrics just to sum up where we are. 80% of leaders say that they plan to make major changes to their flexible work policies. We also know that 73% of employers, they want more flexible work options. And as we all likely know, we can't just like apply the same ways we were working in 2019, pre-pandemic, pre-shift to remote work to today. We really want to be intentional and make sure our collaboration is working and as companies scale and change over time. And where we see this issue presenting itself most acutely is context switching. So we're communicating more than ever. You probably have an email inbox full of emails, some sort of like chat. Maybe you have your phone buzzing. We are getting inundated with information and messages all the time. Yet what happens with that is we really have disparate communications and not everything is centralized in a healthy way. So you end up flipping between all these different tools, losing information. Things are not documented where they should be. Different teams use different tools. Maybe these are resonating with you, or maybe you figured it out and we should learn from you. But this is a common problem that I know I've experienced in my work, and I know a lot of others are experiencing. And that's really what we wanted to tackle with these applications, or at least help tackle. So we'll start with talking about our Jira solution. One of the really cool things that we did back in 2020 is we completely rebuilt this app from the ground up. So if you are part of the customer cohort who migrated from our legacy app to our new app, thank you. Hopefully you've seen a really cool difference, because what we did was we studied these behaviors, the biggest challenges, and we completely rebuilt this app, really kind of pushed the boundaries of what's possible with an integration in order to allow you to complete workflows without switching tools, and to have that central source of truth, speaking to the problems we just saw before. And so I'll spend time kind of talking about these solutions in the context of the demo, but you'll see what we really wanted to solve for is adapting to changes in real time, because we know there's always, especially when it comes to agile development, things are always changing. You want to be able to update from whatever tool you're in. You also want to bring context to different issues and conversations. And as I said, you want to reduce context switching. So this screenshot is small, so I will kind of just breeze over this, and then we'll tackle it more in the demo itself. But we want to adapt to change in real time. So there's a couple of ways that the integration does this. One, you can actually create a central view of Jira issues within Teams. So you can do that in a Teams channel, and it can act as your sort of dashboard, either as a personal dashboard of issues assigned to you, or you can do this in a team view. And one really exciting new feature that we've launched relatively recently in the last 12 months is the ability to convert a Microsoft Teams chat into either a comment on an existing Jira issue or a net new Jira issue. And while this may seem simple, you can probably think about the amount of times that you get a new update or a new piece of information. And if that context is not updated into the ticket, first of all, your tickets are no longer your source of truth. But then also, you don't have the context of why that change was made. So that's really, even though this is a small change, we're finding it's really, really well loved by our customers, because it preserves that context and allows you to stay in the groove without hopping tools. And then lastly, you can search Jira or view recent issues directly from the Teams chat using the messaging tool. So to kind of build on this theme, we are letting you stay in the flow, and a couple of proof points here. You get to receive Jira notifications in Teams, and this has been a game changer for many, many Jira users and Microsoft Teams users. One user that I interviewed, he said, we no longer work at the sloth pace of email, and we are able to work at the pace of chat in terms of, updating Jira issues, making changes. He said he was even scaring people with how quickly he responded, because he would get the pop-up, he would get the notification in Teams and be able to immediately action it. So in terms of increasing your Teams velocity, and let's face it, I don't think anyone loves feeling like they need to pop into their inbox 5 times a day. You can also customize these notifications, because as you know, everyone has different preferences and different things that they want to be notified about. And you can receive notifications on tickets that you are watching, not just those that you are assigned to or you're reported on. And then lastly, we are able to actually bring in a Jira panel into Teams meetings. So you can visualize your Jira tickets as long as those in the meetings have permission. You can collectively edit, view with meeting attendees, and prioritize. So this is a really powerful solution for those who really like to meet and kind of go over the status of current tickets. Maybe it's a sprint kickoff or anything like that. So now let's hop into the demo, and then I'll see if there are any questions. So I'm actually I tend to have a demo curse, if you will. So I'm gonna actually let this video play through and just speak over and talk about the value add. Let me know too if anyone's having trouble seeing this or following it. But I'm just gonna walk through what the install process looks like. You're gonna authenticate on your Atlassian tools via the Microsoft Teams app. And it's immediately going to ask you about your notifications. It's going to tell you when you're going to get notified about Jira issues, and you can actually make changes immediately and go ahead and tailor those notifications so you're only notified when you want to be. And if you're not a fan of notifications in chat, you can turn them off altogether. This just shows you kind of the flexibility here, and you can pick which Jira instances which Jira sites rather, you want to be notified for. And each end user has the ability to tailor their own notifications. Here you can see within the Jira bot, you have the ability to kind of do some basic commands. I'm going to go ahead and skip over this part because I don't think it's the most exciting. I'm going to go to, so here's where you can actually, here's a Jira board that's just displayed within Jira. So you can
Hey,
see what
Laura,
it will look like in Teams.
I don't know if it's for me only, but I see this slide yet. Slide 15. Are the
Oh
others seeing
goodness,
slide
I'm
15
sorry.
or?
I'm so glad you shared. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Oh goodness, sorry team. Let me switch the screen share.
No
Oh
worries at
geez.
all. I'm having internet issues, so I wasn't sure if it was mine or okay.
No, I'm so glad you said something. Okay, let's
Ah,
go
there we
back to
go.
the demo here.
Yeah, that's good now. Thank you.
So I'm going to walk back to actually where you find it in the App Store. So as you know, you can find these apps actually from the native Teams app. So if you go to apps, type in Jira, you will see the Jira app. So here is where you can read about more of the features, more about permissions. You can add it to a team, chat, or meeting. I encourage you to add them to all of them to get the most out of the integration experience. Here's where you can also click in to get more documentation on things like privacy and how we kind of share data. And then it's going to ask you to sign in to your Atlassian account and verify. And then, as I mentioned before, this will immediately take you into the notifications flow. It'll tell you kind of some default settings for notifications and then allow you to either make changes to adjust, more with more kind of finesse, which notifications you want, or you can turn them off altogether if you're not a fan of getting those notifications. This is what the notification picker looks like, just so you have context. It allows you to kind of check and uncheck as you go. I find this really helpful. Sometimes you kind of can tweak them as you go, and it's easy to come back to this at any time, not just when you install the integration. Now I'm going to flip over to a Jira view that Will has created. He's the one who did our demo here. This is what it looks like in Jira. You can see here, classic view. So he's building the view in Jira, and then he's going to take that link and use it to create a new tab within Teams. So this is him kind of progressing different issues in Jira. And then this is where you'll see the actual update notification as it comes through. So as you see, you can kind of have that nice looking card that goes to show, and from here, you can actually comment, edit the issue, or unwatch. So again, this is really built to keep you in the flow of work so that if you wanted to comment or edit, you don't have to go back into the depths of Jira if that's not where you want to be. You can really easily make these common changes right from Teams and get back to what you wanted to be doing. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this demo continue playing through so you can get a feel for what this looks like. Right now, we're going to add a Jira tab within the Teams view. So it's going to ask you to select which Jira site and then which one of your saved filters you want to bring in. So he's going to bring in that saved filter that we were just looking at. And here you can see you have this live Jira board. It looks and feels just like Jira, but it's inside of Teams. You can search issues, you can filter by any of those headers. And you can see from the top right, you can also create issues here. So like many times you want to create tickets on the fly. So easily kind of being able to navigate and have this team view. Teams really find this helpful as to have that source of truth. And then lastly, we'll go over the meeting flow. And apologies, before I go into that, I do want to walk through some exciting updates that actually Vladimir recently shared. This is a recent enhancement to that Jira board within Teams. And that's one of our most popular and valued features. So I want to make sure we're sharing the latest here. I'll make sure that this community article is shared with you. But what I wanted to share is this demo is slightly outdated now because these new features just came out. But as you can see, we heard from a lot of customers that they want the ability to add kind of more dynamic filters and be able to make changes and have it look and feel just like it would within the Jira native app. So we actually incorporated these drop downs here and this filters area here to really bring that to life within Microsoft Teams. So I'll make sure this is shared, but this is a little bit of what it looks like. Again, this is all within Teams. So our goal to really bring kind of the best and most frequent actions that you would want to quickly take to bring them directly in. So when you click onto filters in that top left corner, this is what you see. You kind of can have these nice drop downs.
Sorry, Laura, are you sharing this functionality?
Oh goodness, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I didn't switch this screen share again. I'm sorry. Let me do that one more time. I'm going to actually just share the window because that should really solve our problems. Apologies, team. Thank you for understanding. Okay, so just to kind of give you a comparison. So before, what we initially launched was this view where you can search and you can kind of display by these certain things. But what we heard from customers is that they wanted to be able to bring in filters and kind of more of these drop down changes into Teams. So the most recent item that we shipped here is the ability to bring in these drop down filters, just like you have in Jira, and bring them in to the list view with an issue. So if you wanted to advance this issue or change the status, you could then just click the drop down and it would look and behave just like it would in Microsoft Teams. And huge thanks to Vladimir and team for bringing this to life. As you can see, this is his name in the top right with the test instance. This is a little bit of what it looks like if you wanted to search here. And again, I'll make sure this article is shared out so you can get more details on this. But this has been a well-loved feature. And the last feature I'll demo is actually our meeting feature. So I'll walk through what that looks like. You're going to add a tab with Jira once again. So you'll click Jira Cloud, have that brought in. And then from the calendar view, you'll go ahead and set up a meeting. Hopefully it's more exciting than Jira Cloud test. You'll add your attendees. And then you'll edit the meeting and you'll click the plus button within the meeting invite and you'll add Jira Cloud. And you'll see when you click add, it'll automatically allow you to select which site you want. And before the meeting, maybe you want to pre-select which issues appear in the side panel. And that's what this screen allows you to do. Again, it'll give you those basic, most important details in the screen before you jump into the meeting. Or if you want to look for others, you can search for a different site or a different project. Let's say you wanted to create an issue right before the meeting. You could then create one on the fly and bring it into the meeting. That's what we're going to do here. Here, we're actually seeing the Jira issue view. I'm going to just pause this right here. She's showing the Jira issue view that comes from the chat box that I mentioned earlier. So whenever you click the Jira icon in the very bottom of the chat box there, you'll be able to see the 10 most recent Jira issues, which is super handy. You can also easily search by typing in keywords here. Or if you wanted to create a new Jira issue, this is also where you can hit that plus button in the top right. So again, we're really targeting those most common behaviors, trying to surface the most relevant information to you. And when you send it, as you see, it comes out as this really nice looking link card. So it's not just a URL that no one can kind of decipher. We really wanted to bring the most important pieces front and center so that it saves you a click. You can stay in what you're doing. And I believe we don't actually include the meeting portion of this demo just because when you're in Teams, it gets tricky. But as you can imagine from the screenshot I shared, you can bring in to any Teams meeting using the kind of apps interface. You can bring it into, and I'll show you a brief screenshot so you can see. This is what it looks like. You would click the 3 dots during a meeting, find the Jira tab, and then you would get an issue view in the right-hand corner. We also have customers that are just really used to screen sharing, and that is sort of their muscle memory, so they continue to do that. But if you want just to be able to have this view within Teams, you are able to do that with this integration. Okay.
I did have one question, and
Yeah,
I
please.
might have missed it. Can you basically like attach either a board or like a page in Confluence into a meeting, or is it kind of down at the issue level, or certain issues that you pull in?
You're able to select issues and bring them into a Teams meeting. Confluence pages I will tackle next. We do have a Confluence notes feature for Teams meetings and an embedded pages feature that I will get into. Does that answer your question about Jira though?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll pause before I dig into Confluence. And again, thank you all for tagging along as I had some screen share issues there, apologies. But I'll pause here. Any other questions about Jira, the app itself?
I think there's
Okay.
one in the chat, Laura.
Yeah.
Most of our
Absolutely.
stakeholders are interested in graphical view of task items to see an overview of project progress. Can you add such dashboard in Teams group tab?
Yes, great question. So that looks like, I'm gonna go back to the part in the demo where he adds that. Just gonna find the spot here so I can bring a visual to that. Yes, so in order to do that, you would navigate to whatever sort of team channel you have within Teams. So here is a general team channel. And you can see you have all of these tabs within that. So what you do to add a Jira channel is you hit the plus, you would select Jira Cloud, you would identify the site that you want to choose from, and then you would select that pre-filtered view. So one prerequisite to this is you would want to create the view, and most teams already have a view of maybe it's a team view or a sprint view that exists in Jira. And then from here, you would just select that view from the dropdown. And then here's the box to say, do you want to post to the channel, letting them know that you've added this tab. And once you select that, then you have this really rich view of Jira issues within Teams. And as I mentioned, we just released recently the ability to have filters and to dynamically update these from this tab within the group. Yeah, really good question. Okay, with the interest of time, I'm going to keep moving forward to talk about Confluence. I'm really excited about this integration. I use this quite frequently. We've seen a lot of great traction with customers. Again, floating around these same themes of keeping people focused, connecting the actual collaboration and project pages to where people are talking about them in Teams, and just having that single source of truth. So similar to Jira, we have the chat box icon. So you'll see the Confluence icon that will automatically surface the 10 most recent pages you worked on in Confluence, and it allows you to search really easily. So let's say you're trying to share, a blog or a project page with the broader team, makes it really easy to find what you're looking for. We use Confluence as our ultimate source of truth at Atlassian, and I can say that finding the right page is always a burden if you can't get that. So having this recent view is really helpful. What I'll say as well, and what we recently launched, there are two pieces of this. So the first thing I will touch on is the meetings notes feature. And that actually allows you to add Confluence to a meeting. And then similar to the Jira view, you can take notes in the right-hand panel of a Teams meeting. And at the end of the meeting, it'll automatically store it. And you'll see if, and apologies, the font is a bit small, but you'll see Microsoft Teams notes. It'll automatically add the meeting name, the date, it'll tag the attendees, and you can use kind of rich inputs like decisions, tasks, tagging, and it will actually, like from the actual Microsoft Teams panel interface, and it'll put those into a Confluence page automatically, and it will send a link to the Microsoft Teams chat with those notes. So you no longer have, 4 different versions of meeting notes, everyone having different action items. So it allows you to have one version of the meeting. And one really kind of beautiful thing that's unlocked with this is that people who aren't able to make the meeting automatically know what was covered and are caught up without having to kind of grab a friend and ask or just kind of not be in the loop. Here's what it looks like within Microsoft Teams. So as you can see, it kind of follows the dark mode of Microsoft Teams. And once you add it, you can name your meeting, you can use rich inputs, even like tables, decisions, all those things that we love and know in Confluence. And then when you hit publish, that's when the magic happens, where it's automatically labeled by date, message to the team, really keeping that source of truth alive. As I'm saying, I mentioned this before, so I won't spend too much time on this one. This is specifically around Jira notifications within Teams. So now I'll flip over to the Confluence demo. One thing that's really exciting, and again, I'm using a video here just so that we don't have any issues with the demo. And I'm going to walk through what I talked about initially and what we're calling embedded pages within Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is the first kind of third-party tool where you've launched this. And so we're really excited to have this in Teams exclusively at the moment. And we've seen a lot of customers get immense value out of it. So what I'll share here, he's just adding Confluence and installing it. You can see here, you're going to set up Confluence in a channel, similar install flow, and we do have install documentation to share that I'll make sure Fernando has. So if we want to add Confluence page to a tab, as you can see, similar to Jira, he clicked the plus, he identified it, and now you can either create a new page, or you can add an existing page. So maybe that one already exists and you want to bring it into Teams, or again, if you're collaborating and you don't want to go all the way over to Confluence, you can do that within Teams. And it'll ask you to identify the parent page, so where you want to nest this page under. And then you have the option to post to the channel about adding this tab if you feel like it's newsworthy for your team. So again, here you can choose your space and your parent page. That's just like where this is stored in Confluence. And then as you can see, this looks and feels just like Confluence. You have things like the information bar. You can easily bring in attachments. It has kind of all those beautiful quick edits, things like tables, and the product team did a really extraordinary job of bringing in the look and feel of Confluence in the native editor, but within Teams. And so that's kind of an example of creating a new page. But what if you wanted to bring in an existing page? This allows you to kind of find the page. You can attach it. This, again, it's going to show you the 10 most recent pages to try to save you a little bit of time. Maybe it's one of those, or maybe you want to search to find the page you want to bring in. So you'll select your page. And as you can see, it comes in looking just like it would in Confluence, no wonky formatting. Another exciting piece here is that you also have the richness of collaborative editing that you have in Confluence. So you can make changes, they will update live, you can publish here just like you would in Confluence. And then, just like in Jira, we have the ability to find notifications and tailor them. So here he's adding a Confluence page similar to Jira. We wanted to build in really powerful contextual link cards, and this one doesn't have a whole lot of information because it's just a test card. But as you can see, like this is going to save a lot of people a click because it gives you the title, the author, when it was created, as well as likes and comments. So rather than just a blind URL that's going to take someone out of their focus and into a new window, you're really informing people, you know, giving them information to know, is this worth a click or is this something I don't need to look at? And again, just like Jira, we do have the ability to edit notifications. I really like this feature of being able to kind of tailor this. You know, sometimes you read a blog and you get inundated with notifications and you want to adjust that as you go. So each person can do that. And as you can see here, this is what the updates look like. So you can open them in Confluence or react to them in the channel. And here's what the page looks like in Confluence, the one that we created in Teams. And there's my friend Wes. I also have a click-through demo, some of these that I will share with the broader group, but I know I've been talking for a long time